Alright folks, we got a little something different this time. Today we're going to talk about how I set up and reinforce the Harbor Freight COVERPRO 12 by 20 foot portable tent garage. From what I can tell, this is a relatively new product from Harbor Freight. The videos on this thing only go back about 4 or 5 months on YouTube, so it might be fairly new. They have a different version of this, which is a little bit smaller, and it's also yellow instead of dark gray or black. But let me show you how I set this thing up, and the improvements that I did to it will help it carry a little bit of snow before I can get out here to clean it off in between snowfalls. Okay, so first thing I did was where these corner legs come down, they're just a over a 90-degree bend, and then they just stop. Well, then you hook your ratchet strap down to the very end of it, and you tighten it up. And the one guy on YouTube was saying how all that did was just crank his legs inward. You just keep cranking and cranking and cranking, and it just keeps bending the legs inward and inward. So what I did was I found 1.25 inch conduit is the same diameter as the tubing used for the tent garage, 1.5 inch OD. So I picked up some EMT connectors, some couplers, and drilled that one hole out, which was perfectly in line. You use that one hole as a pilot hole to drill all the way through, and I put an eyelet in the corner, which is now where I connect my ratchet strap to. And then I was able to put a piece of conduit all the way across the bottom, and that helps set the width of the corner posts on both ends. Now that piece of conduit is exactly 10 feet long, and in the owner's manual it says to measure the width of the tent, and it says it's going to be 11 foot 10, but it doesn't exactly show where to measure from. It's not very clear where to measure from. One arrow shows to measure from the inside of the radius, and another arrow shows to measure from, you can't really tell. It's not very clear. And it says the dimension is going to be 11 foot 10. Well, if you take these corner legs and you were to draw an imaginary line straight down from the leg instead of it bending, and then measure across to the very end of it, the width of that, the bottom of that leg width would essentially be exactly 1 foot. And the conduit is exactly 10 feet, along with the other corner angle on the other end, makes it exactly 12 feet across. So in my experience, putting that piece of conduit across the bottom really helps strengthen the corner pieces of this tent garage. The kit comes with a piece of tubing for the door that you're going to use. It does not come with a piece of tubing for both doors. You have to come up with your own for the back door. But when you go to put this together, when you slide this corner piece over the piece of tubing, I already had the conduit here, so I couldn't slide it on from this end. So I just disconnected the pipe up here and slid it on from the top, and then put the pipe back together, which worked pretty good. And like I said, I put this eyelet here, and that's now where my ratchets connect to tighten the tent up. If you wanted to, you could drill the holes through the side of that EMT coupler and use the factory hole locations, but this worked fine for me. They do get in the way a little bit of the tent canvas, but it's been okay. It's fine for me. It works pretty good. And the end of the tent wall is really secure. I also put some 12-inch landscape spikes. One 12-inch landscape spike through each foot of the sidewall studs on the feet. I have really, really sandy soil here, so they don't hold great right now, but as soon as this ground freezes, it'll hold the leg really well to keep it from moving side to side. But do not put those spikes in until after you get each one of these pipes here that connect to the sidewall. Don't put the spike in the foot until you get these pipes in and connected, because you got to have your spacing just right. And as far as spacing goes, they say in the manual to get this thing on a perfectly level ground and get the thing perfectly square. Well, guess what? I put this tent in the spot that it works for me. And it's not perfectly level. And I don't plan on using this for long term. It's going to come down next spring. So even though it wasn't perfectly level, guess what? It's a tent. And it's canvas. It's flexible. It's going to work just fine, okay? I got it as square as I could. I got it as level as I could. In fact, I had to put a little shim under that one right there, some plastic, to get it, to help it out a little bit. But this is far from perfect, and the tent went up just fine. So keep that in mind. And the last thing I did there is, you can see I drilled a hole on each end of the conduit on both ends of the garage tent to put another 12-inch landscape spike through the pipe. And again, that'll just help it, help hold it in place from moving front to back or side to side or whatever, especially once the ground freezes. The ground anchors that come with this tent are 27 inches long. The particular area where I'm standing, there's a trench that goes through here with electricity in PVC pipe conduit underground. And I put that trench in myself years ago, but I can't remember exactly where it was. So in order to avoid any problems, I went out to Amazon and I bought some, I'll put them up here on the screen, some red ground anchors that are only 12 inches long. And if you buy those anchors off Amazon, in my sandy soil, they drove in real well using this 2 1/4 inch socket. The factory ground anchors that come with it use a 1 3/16 socket, and on a big impact wrench they go right in. Works real good. So as far as anchoring and making improvements, everywhere I connect a strap to this tent frame, I used one of these hookup straps. I guess you'd call it a hookup strap. They're handlebar straps or soft straps, whatever you want to call them. And you can get them at Harbor Freight in packs of 4 for $3.99. They work out to be $1 a piece. And I use them to wrap around the tent framing instead of having this big hook have to go around there and then back to itself and hope it stays connected. You get these soft straps and then hook your ratchet strap to it, and that's a good setup. They also sell the same type of strap at Home Depot. The Home Depot one is rated for 1,100 pounds, and it's a little bit larger than the Harbor Freight strap. I think the Harbor Freight strap was rated for 800. This is 1,100. They're both work out to be $1 a piece. The Husky Home Depot strap, 98 cents a piece. So on the end wall that I don't plan to use, I did diagonal straps. One from the top corner down to a ground anchor, and from the top corner down to another ground anchor. I also did a ratchet strap from the top corner straight down to a ground anchor, and same in the other corner, from the top corner down to a ground anchor. Looks like multiple straps, it's just the slack tied off. And then on the front corner here, I've done the same thing. One strap from the frame down to a ground anchor. And then once the truck is in here, once I get the truck parked in here, I've got a strap hanging here ready to go. Ratchet strap ready to go. The ratchet with its strap. And on the other corner here, I've got same setup. I've got one strap from the top corner down to a ground anchor, and I've got another strap and ratchet hanging here ready to be the other diagonal. So on this end piece, I'll have a diagonal and a diagonal once the truck is in here, plus the 2 that go straight down to hold the tent down. Then on the side walls, you can see I've got 2 diagonal straps going to ground anchors. And I did use 2 factory ground anchors. Those are the 2 factory ground anchors, the 27-inch ones, but I put them in at an angle. And those things will hold like crazy because how deep they are. But 2 diagonal straps on that side to keep the tent from racking back and forth that way. and 2 diagonal straps on that side to keep the tent from rocking that way. And then you can see I've got extra straps. Got ratchets hanging on that side, and I've got extra straps hanging on that side. Once the truck is in here, I can run them all straight across to keep the sidewalls from wanting to spread outward when the snow is pushing down on the roof. In fact, I'll probably do the same on the front. You got the main end wall, and then on this front one, I'll just run a strap all the way across, like I did here in the back. Run a strap all the way across. But then the 2 center ones, I'll probably crisscross those like I did on the end walls, but they'll be crisscrossed on the roof. All these extra ratchet straps and extra hookup straps and conduit and connectors, probably another couple $100 worth of stuff. Maybe not quite a couple hundred, give or take. Is it worth it? I don't know, maybe. I don't want the portable tent garage to fall down on my pickup, so anything I can do extra to help increase the load capability. And don't get me wrong, I still plan on coming out here and shoveling the excess snow off, or using a roof rake to pull the excess snow off. But if I don't get out here immediately every time it snows, I want to give it a little extra help, give it all the extra help I can in the meantime. I ended up using these 1,000 pound ratchet straps from Home Depot. The ratchets are fairly decent size and they weren't too bad priced. I would have just bought a bunch of ratchets at Harbor Freight, but I didn't think their ratchet straps were as decent as the Home Depot ones for about the same money. I think it was a pack of 4 of these for $20, $19.99. I think they also had a pack of 4 500 pound rated ratchet straps for $10. All of this diagonal bracing in all the different directions really enforce the frame on this thing. It doesn't move or budge any direction. It's really strong. And if for whatever reason I have to come in here in the middle of the night, I put up a couple of Harbor Freight shop lights that were on sale. I think they were $16.99 a piece. A couple of those soft straps, hooked up a couple of pieces of chain, hung it from the rafters. This particular light fixture, they are designed to hook together. I've got an extension cord can run to my main shed that has an electrical outlet in it. And if I have to come in here in the middle of the night to get my truck out, it's just pull a couple of chains and I'll have some lights. You can barely see it in there, but I put a piece of 3/4 inch EMT conduit through the end pocket there to help keep the back of this door rigid. 3/4 inch EMT conduit as a 1 inch OD, I believe. So that worked pretty good. If you found any of my ideas helpful, please be sure to drop a comment below or give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Anyway, that's all I have for now. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.